In 2010, 25-year-old Ahua sneaked into the United States. She worked in Chinese restaurants and massage parlors, but because she secretly provided customers with half-bed services, that is, helping customers masturbate, she was fired after being discovered by the boss. Later, she entered an underground brothel and began her life as a call girl. Ahua received up to 10 customers a day and earned about $20,000 a month. Ahua is less than 1.6 meters tall and weighs less than 80 kilograms. Although she is not beautiful, she is very attractive. She has a layer of fine freckles, and her 2 canine teeth are exposed when she smiles. She speaks with a strong Fujian accent. Ahua's hometown is a village near Chang'an City, Fuzhou, Fujian. Although this village is not big, it has a long immigration tradition like many villages and towns in Fujian province. Most of the young people in the same village, including Ahua's relatives and friends, chose to immigrate. Ahua used to work as an assembly line worker in the town's factory, working from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., with 1 day off a week. He is the eldest in the family, and there are 2 underage sisters and elderly parents at home. His family is relatively poor in the village. With a monthly salary of more than 2,000 yuan, there is almost nothing left after living expenses and household subsidies. His parents are ordinary farmers and do not have much ambition. They just hope that their daughter can marry a good family as soon as possible. Ahua dated 2 boyfriends, but was dumped by both of them. Later, she did not want to date and never got married. In the early summer of 2010, Ahua, who had just turned 25 and knew only a few English words, decided to sneak into the United States. After 2 illegal immigrations that took nearly 2 years and experienced all kinds of hardships, he finally arrived on the other side of the ocean. Ahua contacted her aunt in New York in advance, and her aunt helped her advance the $70,000 of smuggling fees. Her aunt sneaked there 10 years ago, and later married an American, and became an American citizen. A few years ago, he persuaded Ahua to come to the United States, saying that working here is very profitable. Her aunt went to pick her up. The car drove for 2 days and many weeks. Along the way, Ahua looked at the scenery outside the car window and shed tears unconsciously. He told his aunt that these were the happiest 2 days in recent years. In the summer of 2012, Ahua came to 8th Avenue in Brooklyn, New York, which is a gathering place for Fuzhou people, and one of the most famous Chinatowns in the United States. Fuzhou snack shops can be seen everywhere on the streets, and many Chinese restaurants and shopping malls are also run by Chinese. The pedestrians on the road are familiar yellow faces everywhere. Ahua gave herself an English name, Anna. Introduced by her aunt, she came to a Chinese restaurant and started working to pay off her debts. Most illegal immigrants can pay off their debts within 5 years by working, but these 5 years will be very tiring. Due to the low hourly wage, they have to work more than 80 hours a week, and most of the work they do is high intensity and poor working environment. It is said that after the 9/11 incident, the work of cleaning up the ruins of the World Trade Center in New York was mainly done by illegal immigrants hired by the New York City government, most of whom were from Chang'an, Fuzhou. Ahua had no experience working in a restaurant before, so the boss arranged a job for her at the stand, that is, watching the buffet table and constantly serving dishes to it. The monthly salary is $2,200, and the monthly debt repayment plus interest is $1,000. She temporarily lived in her aunt's house. Originally, her aunt didn't want to charge her rent, but her uncle-in-law was a relatively cold American and insisted that she pay $800 in rent every month. The remaining money was not enough for her to live in the restaurant. After working for 3 months, Ahua had the idea of changing jobs. After coming to the United States, Ahua heard many stories about Chinese people getting rich. There was a man who sneaked in and specialized in reselling relief coupons, which were the kind of shopping coupons issued by the government to the poor that could only be consumed in supermarkets. This person bought a large number of shopping coupons from Mexicans and blacks at a low price, and then sold them at a high price. In just 1 year, he accumulated millions of dollars. There were also people who opened Chinese restaurants after coming here. They all failed at the beginning, but later they gained experience and changed to seafood restaurants. Within a year, they opened 17 branches across the United States. Later, they married a Mexican wife and successfully obtained American citizenship. Ahua heard from a fellow villager that massage was more profitable. There were many Chinese massage parlors and massage parlors in Chinatown. The fellow villager was in this business, and he later introduced a store to him. After some hesitation, Ahua quit her job at the restaurant and went there. The shop was on a narrow street, with a conspicuous signboard of China Masa hanging at the door. Guan Eri was enshrined at the entrance, and the shop was filled with a faint smell of incense. Ahua went in and explained her purpose. The boss looked her up and down and said, "Come and learn for a few days, and start working if you think you can do it." Ahua heard the boss's concerns and hurriedly said, "I can do it. Boss, don't look at my small stature, but my arms are still very strong. I have practiced serving dishes in the restaurant." The boss agreed. After a simple training, Ahua started working. The work of the massage shop is to massage the feet and backs of customers. Ahua got the hang of it quickly. In short, it is similar to serving dishes, and you make money by strength. Most of the customers who call are Americans. Ahua has to massage 5 or 6 people every day, and the boss takes half of it. The average daily income is $180, and the tips from customers are extra. At the end of the day, Ahua's shoulders ached from exhaustion. She fell asleep as soon as she got home, not even having the energy to take a shower. But she never missed a day of work. She didn't dare tell her aunt that she had quit her job at the restaurant and earned nearly $8,000 in the first month. Ahua counted the money over and over again, a little bit unbelievable. On the day she got her salary, he felt that his real life in the United States was about to begin. With the increase in income, Ahua could save several $1,000s in addition to paying off her monthly debts and living expenses. He moved out of her aunt's house and rented a small apartment nearby for $1,200 a month. She also started shopping and bought some fashionable clothes and cosmetics. A fellow villager took her to Manhattan to visit the Statue of Liberty. Ahua was amazed and felt that the air she breathed was so fresh. Ahua also signed up for an English class and could have simple conversations with customers. During this period, Ahua went to church every week. 6 months later, she successfully obtained a work permit. With this card, she could work legally. Ahua was thinking, the first goal is to pay off the debt within 2 years, the next goal is to get a green card as soon as possible. He heard that some people get green cards through asylum, fake marriage, work, lottery, studying abroad, and with a green card, they can take the citizenship test after 5 years, and become American citizens after passing the test. But no matter what, you have to save enough money first. One day, an American customer came to the store and told him that he was an old customer and asked if he could do it for him. Ahua didn't know what it meant, and the customer hinted with actions, which was actually masturbation. Ahua was stunned when she understood, and she said she had never done it before. The customer whispered that he could give him more tips. Ahua was a little entangled, but after seeing that the tips were not small, she did it. Later, this customer asked her for the short woman with freckles on her face every time he came, until one day the boss found out, and he scolded Ahua, "Are you stupid? This is a regular store, do you want my store to go bankrupt and let me go to jail? You don't have to come tomorrow." Ahua said that she really didn't know the rules, and just wanted to make more money to pay off the debt, and asked the boss to give her a chance. The boss said that he didn't want the commission for the day and asked him to leave immediately. That's how Ahua lost his job. Later, he learned that massage parlors are divided into regular ones, those with half beds, and those with full beds. Many parlors can't tell the difference from the outside, so you need to ask the boss in advance when you join the company. Ahua interviewed several massage parlors through an employment agency, and finally he chose a parlor that could provide half beds. After that, he earned $10,000 a month, and it was easier than the previous one. He began to send money back home, from $800 a month to $1,500 a month, and then to $2,000 a month. He hoped that his parents and sisters could live a better life, but after all, he was in a foreign country and didn't know many friends. When he was resting, Ahua inevitably felt lonely and bored. In a blink of an eye, Ahua had been in the United States for more than a year. He felt that in addition to working and making money, he hadn't had a good time to go shopping. So he asked his boss for a few days off and signed up for a tour group to go to Los Angeles and San Francisco for a 3-day tour. The tour group consisted of about 20 people. The tour guide and tourists were all Chinese. They went to the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Universal Studios, the Golden Gate Bridge, known as the greatest building in the United States, and Alcatraz, once the most notorious prison. Although the trip was only 3 days, he was still not satisfied, and he became friends with a girl who was traveling with him. They sat in the same row along the way, and got along very well. The girl's name was Juzu, 24 years old, from Heilongjiang, and spoke authentic northeastern Bangchazi. At the end of the trip, Ahua added Juzu's WeChat, and said that she would keep in touch in the future, and come to New York to visit her if she had the chance. In the fall of 2013, Ahua was taken to a casino by a fellow villager by chance. That was his first time to go to a casino. Later, he often went there alone. He played a lot and lost a lot. He kept throwing money in, and soon he lost all his savings. The casino is like a monster with a bloody mouth, constantly devouring people's money and desires. One day in October, Ahua received a WeChat message from Juzu, who told him that she was playing in New York these 2 days. After seeing Juzu ordering food, Ahua looked at Juzu carefully and felt that she seemed different from the last time they met. Juzu was dressed very fashionably, with a mink collar coat, red stilettos, and her hair dyed burgundy. Seeing Ahua's expression, Juzu suddenly laughed and told Ahua that this trip to the United States was not for fun. Ahua didn't know what Juzu said next, which completely dragged him into an abyss. After dinner, they changed places. Juzu and her 2 friends came with B2 tourist visas through an intermediary in China. This so-called intermediary specializes in introducing Chinese girls who want to make money in the United States to engage in prostitution. They will contact the madams in the United States in advance. As soon as the good girls land, they will be sent directly to houses in various cities in the United States. The madams will ask each girl to send selfies in advance and take a full-body video in a bikini. The price is set according to each person's conditions. The average price is $120 to $150 per session, and the price for a good one can reach $500. If it is a monthly package, it usually starts at $1,000. Labor insurance will deduct 30% to 50%. The tips given by the customers belong to the girls. Juzu said that she has earned $80,000 in the past few months since she came to the United States. On the days every month when she cannot work, she goes shopping and traveling everywhere. Last time, it was her first time to travel in a group, and she happened to meet Ahua. Ahua fell into the trap and asked Juzu if she could do this. Juzu took out her mobile phone to show him. The screen showed a WeChat group with dozens of girls in it, and the group owner was Mama-san. Juzu said that it was not up to him to decide. If he really wanted to do it, she would talk to the group owner later, and let him contact her directly. I will not participate in your discussion. A few days later, a person named Amy added Ahua on WeChat. Ahua sent videos and photos according to the other party's requirements. After a while, the other party replied, "Okay, I will give you an address and we will have a face-to-face meeting." In 2014, Ahua came to a brothel near Chinatown. Because she was not pretty and short, she only earned $120 per session at the beginning. The mamasan took $40, and the remaining $80 plus tips belonged to Ahua. She mainly served local Chinese. Ahua received up to 10 customers a day, and earned about $20,000 a month. Later, in order to make more money, he simply opened up his business to foreigners. Many foreigners liked the thin Ahua, saying that she was charming and had the flavor of an oriental beauty. He gradually had a lot of stable repeat customers, and his income increased a lot. Some customers were very generous and often gave $100 tips. Girls also competed with each other. A very beautiful girl met a rich sponsor, who directly gave her a Maserati. In more than 4 months, Ahua saved $100,000. Such houses are everywhere in the United States, some in the city, some in the suburbs, usually a 2-story building, without any signs, looks no different from ordinary houses, relatively hidden, with 5 to 10 rooms. Each room is decorated in ambiguous warm colors. Most of the guests drive there by themselves, and some will send a car to pick up the guests. Most of the mamasan are middle-aged Chinese women. In order to expand their business, they will advertise on websites, local Chinese newspapers, and adult magazines to attract business. They will also share resources. According to the different requirements of the guests, they will arrange corresponding call girls to pick up and drop off, running between various houses and hotels. It is said that in Flushing, Queens, New York alone, there are tens of thousands of Chinese prostitutes, and erotic massage shops are everywhere. Many girls will be wholesaled to major cities to engage in prostitution activities. In many dark corners, many girls and clients contracted STDs. Some underground brothels were quickly closed down due to police crackdowns, reports from peers, or gang fights. Mamasans were sentenced to several months to several years for organizing shelters and prostitution, while prostitutes were generally not severely punished. Some even applied for asylum and eventually got green cards. Ahua usually paid more attention to protecting herself, and she did not contract STDs or get arrested. During breaks, he continued to gamble with the money he earned from the sex trade, and the stakes became bigger and bigger. He won and lost, but in most cases he lost more. Not long after, he lost all his savings again. At that time, he was completely controlled by desire and drug addiction, and he completely forgot about shame. He had no goals in life, and after he paid back his sister-in-law, he almost stopped contacting him. During this period, Ahua met a middle-aged man, Lao Iao. Lao Iao is a mysterious gambler, in his 40s, who often wears a white suit, tan-pointed leather shoes, and often holds a briar pipe in his hand. He is from Tianjin, and is well known in the Chinese-American circle. It is said that people from Shanghai, Qingdao, and Tianjin are difficult to deal with, and no one dares to offend them because they are ruthless, leave no room for others, and are difficult to get along with. But Lao Iao takes good care of Ahua, helping him buy chips, inviting him to dinner, giving him gifts, and lending him money to gamble. This makes Ahua feel a sense of reliance, as he has never been in a relationship since coming to the United States. In the summer of 2015, Ahua moved to California with Lao Iao, and the two rented a house together in Los Angeles and lived together. Lao Iao is a professional gambler who hangs out in major casinos. Ahua sometimes goes to the casino with him, and sometimes stays at home to watch TV dramas, cook and eat. He hasn't done business for a long time, and his life is relatively peaceful. One day a few months later, Lao Iao excitedly proposed to start a business with Ahua, each of them investing $80,000, and guaranteed that they would get their money back in 3 months. Ahur believed that he had resisted gambling for a while, and through his previous relationship, he contacted an underground brothel in Los Angeles and went to make money by prostitution. During this period, Lau Io asked him why he was often not at home. He lied that he had found a job to help a friend do trade, and had been living at his friend's house recently. After a few months, Ahur had collected enough money. When he handed all the money to Lau Io, he found out that it was a marijuana business. Although it is legal to grow marijuana in many states in the United States, you must have a business license and report taxes. There are strict restrictions on the quantity and strict control of the quality of marijuana. For example, marijuana plants must be certified by the laboratory before they can be harvested. The THC content of marijuana plants must not exceed 0.3%, otherwise they must be destroyed. For the above reasons, many people secretly grow marijuana by themselves and then sell it secretly. In early 2016, Ahur and Lau Io officially started the marijuana business. Lau Io has immigrated to the United States with American identity for more than 10 years. He has been engaged in side businesses, reselling relief coupons, stealing credit cards, and selling ecstasy. He can be said to be an old man. Naturally, he quickly became familiar with the grey industry of growing marijuana. Lau Io bought a single-family villa worth 450,000 yuan in a small town an hour's drive from Los Angeles, and paid 100,000 yuan as a down payment. After the house was handed over, large-scale renovation began. First, all the walls of the house except the load-bearing walls were opened up, and the first floor was transformed into a plantation. Another 40,000 yuan was spent on production equipment, flower pots and marijuana seeds, as well as potions, fertilizers, LED lights, exhaust fans, monitoring equipment, etc. And then someone was hired to steal electricity from nearby factories. After all, if all these equipment were turned on, the monthly electricity bill would be tens of thousands of dollars. Finally, Lau Io got a commercial vehicle, removed all the seats in the back row, and converted it into a truck. After everything was done, he waited for the harvest and watered it every 1 or 2 days. He planted a total of 800 plants. 3 months later, he had the first wave of harvest, which was sold for about $110,000. After that, he had a harvest every month, which could be sold for an average of $60,000. Ahur watched Lau Io carry boxes of cash back, some of which he kept at home, and some of which he shipped out. He didn't know how Lau Io washed the money, and through what channels he sold the plants. He had asked, but Lau Io kept his mouth shut, and just said that he didn't need to worry about it, and just needed to divide the money. In just half a year after the first harvest, the two made nearly $500,000. Ahur was very happy, but Lau Io was not satisfied. He immediately bought 3 houses nearby and transformed them into plantations. He also hired some younger brothers. These younger brothers were mainly responsible for planting, watering, picking, and taking care of the garden. Each of them was paid $6,000. This salary made the younger brothers very concerned, and everything went smoothly. Usually, as long as the neighbors don't report it, no one will check it. But things are not that simple, just like candy will inevitably attract ants. It wasn't long before Vietnamese gangs and Mexican gangs came to rob, as if they had been eyeing this piece of fat meat for a long time. After each harvest, Lau Io personally went to deliver the goods. He was more cautious and would not hand over the channel to others. Once after picking, Lau Io transported the marijuana to the receiving location and got a briefcase full of cash. Just after leaving the garage, 2 pickup trucks stopped the truck one after another. 4 strong men jumped out of the car with guns, and the black muzzles pointed at Lau Rao's head. Lau Io didn't expect that he would encounter a scene in a crime movie. He was so scared that he dared not move, so he had to hand over the money obediently. That time, he was robbed of $100,000. In addition to robbing money directly, Lau Io also encountered. When the marijuana was delivered, the Vietnamese gang had figured it out in advance and went directly to the house to take the marijuana away. The next day, when the younger brothers went to pick, they saw a messy plantation and looked at each other. This happened several times within a year, and some timid younger brothers were so scared that they resigned and didn't come. Lau Io certainly knew that this was a black eating black, but it was impossible to call the police. Ahua thought it was too dangerous and wanted to give up the business, but Lau Io persuaded her to stop. She said that it was inevitable to do this business, and it was enough to keep the bulk of the profits. At worst, she could just change the address. Lau Io had considered hiring some bodyguards, but he was afraid that it would lead to a gunfight and attract the attention of the police. All the business would be wiped out, and the stolen money would be considered protection money. The marijuana business continued. Excluding various costs and robberies, the profit for the whole year of 2017 still exceeded $2 million. According to the previous agreement between Lau Io and Ahua, Lau Io and Ahua split the profits 6-4. Later, Ahua didn't worry much about it. He left the business to Lau Io, and he would take the money to gamble when he had nothing to do, often spending 10,000 or 20,000 yuan per hand. Gradually, Ahua became famous in the Chinese community. In 2018, he looked like a celebrity, wearing branded clothes, driving a Porsche 911, going in and out of various high-end places every day, and often taking a helicopter to the major casinos in Las Vegas. Ahua's mood also improved. She felt the pleasure of spending money. His petite figure shuttled through the bright and colorful occasions every day. He felt that his American dream had come true. As long as he had money, this place was really like heaven, and the remote village in his hometown had been completely forgotten by him. In the past 2 years, Ahua and Lau Io have maintained a relationship of lovers and business partners, but he knew in his heart that there was no real love between the two, but he still wanted to marry Lau Io. One of his purposes was to get a green card, and the other was to rely on Lau Io, but Lau Io never gave him a clear answer. Whenever Ahua talked about this topic, Lau Io would delay and evade, and every time the two quarreled and parted unhappily. Without an identity, he still couldn't take root in the United States. However, a kidnapping incident shattered his life. Lau Io has a son who just turned 18 and went to college in New York. He has a rebellious personality, spends money lavishly, loves to show off, and has become a dandy. One day in November 2018, he went to a nightclub to meet a group of people and was very interested in one of the girls. When they came out at 2 or 3 in the middle of the night, they went to a friend's house to continue partying and drinking. He was about to go back in the early morning, but as soon as he came out, he was photographed by several people and stuffed into a business car and drove away. The other party asked Lau Io for $1 million and killed him if he didn't receive the money within 3 days. Lau Io didn't dare to call the police and asked Ahua to discuss what to do. She said that she didn't have so much cash and needed emergency help. At this time, Ahua knew that Lau Io had already married and had a son. Ahua was cruel and finally took out most of her savings to pay the ransom in time to help Lau Io save his son. Afterwards, Lau Io was very grateful to Ahua and promised to divorce his wife, then marry her and give her American identity. He also said that he and his wife had no feelings for each other for a long time and had been separated for many years. Lau Rao's promise ignited hope in Ahua's heart. After all, legal identity has always been Ahua's obsession, because without identity, he can't go back to China. He hasn't seen his family for nearly 7 years. However, on the day before Christmas, Lao Iao suddenly disappeared. Ahua couldn't find the person anywhere. He called the other party's cell phone, but no one answered. When he called again, the phone was turned off. After he rushed to Lao Rao's other residence, he found that Lao Rao's luggage was gone and the house was empty. Soon, Ahua learned a shocking fact that all the properties under Lao Rao's name had been transferred to others, and all the marijuana businesses had been transferred. Ahua was furious and reported all these houses. In 2019, Ahua returned to Chinatown in New York and continued to make a living from the flesh trade. At that time, he was 34 years old, with many wrinkles on his face, his skin became dull, and fewer customers patronized him. He continued to gamble, and at the same time began to drink alcohol and suffer from severe insomnia. He had to take sleeping pills every day to fall asleep. He still had no identity and rented a shabby small apartment, like a walking corpse. Every night, there were always cries of women being beaten next door. The last time Lao Ding saw Ahua was in September 2019. They met in a casino in 2017. Ahua was very popular at that time, exuding charming charm. Her smile under her delicate makeup showed a hint of simplicity and cuteness. At that time, Lao Ding would call him to ask him to come out and sit, eat and chat together. Unexpectedly, after only 2 years of not seeing each other, Ahua in front of him seemed like a different person. That afternoon in a cafe on 8th Avenue, Ahua poured out all her experiences over the years. She said that she had recently suffered from depression and thought about suicide. He said that he wanted to return to China, but he had no identity. He said that he was completely disappointed with the American dream and had not made any real friends here, but he could only blame himself for all this. Not long after that meeting, Lao Ding received a WeChat message from Ahua, just a few words, "I'm leaving, take care of yourself." Lao Ding replied, "Thank you." He also found that the other party had blocked him. Well, today's story ends here. Thank you for listening. If you have anything to say to us, please leave a message below the video to tell us.